Now, doing a master's degree in the US is expensive, and we are going to tell you how much it's going to cost in a future video. But one thing that a lot of people forget to take into account is that the application process itself can be expensive. You'll have to submit applications and pay their application fees. You have to take tests like the GRE, which charge you. You'll have to pay deposits for your rentals, and all these costs sort of add up before you even start your master's journey. In this video, we are going to break down every single cost and what each individual component is going to cost you, and then give you an estimate of what the total cost of application is going to be. Now, of course, I recommend that you grab a pen and paper and note all of these down, and then plan how you can cut down on some of these costs. And throughout this video, I'm going to give you little tidbits on how you can cut down on these costs as well. So stay tuned. So I am Sreekar Sannapareddy. I'm the co-founder of Gradvine. Over the last 7 years, Gradvine has guided thousands of students to the finest universities the world over, with 98% of our students going to a top 50 university for their program and 54% making it to a top 10. So you know that the information coming to you is absolutely legit. Another little interjection before we go on to the meat of this video. If you are a fall 25 applicant or a spring 25 applicant, we have a WhatsApp group which has me, the rest of my team, and my co-founder Suraj Perry, where we answer your queries periodically, and you can also interact with other candidates. Joining this group is absolutely free. The link to join is in the description. We already have over 700 members and it's filling up fast, so I suggest you join quickly. Alright, so let's move into the cost breakdown, and I'm going to start with the most basic thing. What if you do not have a passport? Well, getting a passport costs 1500 rupees. I'm not going into too much more detail, but that's a number you want to put down if you don't have a passport right now. Alright, moving on to the next phase, which is a little important. Before you go do your master's degree, a lot of universities require competitive tests. This could be the GRE or the GMAT. You have to take only one of those depending on the programs you're targeting. And of course, English proficiency tests like the IELTS, TOEFL, and the Duolingo. The GRE, the registration for it at least costs about $220, which roughly translates to 18,300 rupees. So you'll have to pay that. The GMAT is a little bit more expensive. It's around $275, and that is around 22,000 rupees. Now, it's not enough just taking the GRE. You might have to do some sort of coaching or preparation. This is of course optional. Therefore, when you're noting it down, you can maybe scratch it off or decide whether you want to invest in it. Coaching typically can cost between 15 or 20,000 rupees, even at good places. So just giving the test is not enough. You also have to report these scores officially to universities. Now, reporting to each university costs $35 or roughly 2,900 rupees. However, understand that both these tests allow you to report your scores for free to 4 universities as soon as you finish the exam. Therefore, having a shortlist before you attempt the test can save you over $120. We can help you come up with an accurate shortlist so that your score reports aren't wasted. Alright, moving quickly on to another kind of tests, which are the English proficiency tests, the IELTS, the TOEFL, and the Duolingo. The IELTS and the TOEFL are also expensive tests to take. They cost you around 17,000 rupees roughly. Score reporting also for the TOEFL is $25 per school, whereas for IELTS it's 250 rupees per school. You'll have free score reports for both these exams as well. Okay, now that we are on the topic of TOEFL, let me tell you something very interesting that's happening on our WhatsApp community right now. We are telling people how they can get a discount on the TOEFL test, and more importantly, how they can send their scores to up to 12 universities for free. So that's $200 saved straight away. Join our WhatsApp community and we'll tell you how you can achieve this. Now, here is where you can be a little smart. Having the shortlist sort of ready before you apply is important here too. Because if you have a list of universities that you can target based on your GPA and your technical profile, you can check whether they accept the Duolingo test. The Duolingo costs only 5,000 rupees for you to take. Therefore, it's significantly cheaper and score reporting is free. Alright, now comes a massive expense, and it is the application fee to the universities. Applying to US universities is not cheap. Each individual application can cost you anywhere between $50 to $100. Some have $120, but these are very few exceptions. Here's another bonus tip though. If you start the application process early, you can request universities for an application fee waiver, and you'll be surprised at the number of universities that will allow this. If you do this exercise, even if 3 to 4 universities are waiving off the application fee, that is maybe anywhere between $200 to $400 that you might save. And that, my friends, is significant money, over 30,000 rupees potentially. If you want a template for an email that asks for this waiver, you can comment down below and we will send that out to you. Now, another pre-arrival cost with an asterisk is as follows. Every university pretty much now is asking for a deposit before you join. This deposit can be anywhere between $100 to $5,000 depending on the university. Now you don't have to worry about this because this deposit amount is deducted from the tuition fee that you have to pay later. But since this video is about pre-arrival costs in the US, apart from the cost of attendance and living after, you have to factor in this cost as well so that your parents or you are ready with the money set aside. Alright, so we've discussed so far all the expenses related to the application process. Now what happens post your admission? The visa process can be a little expensive as well. Visa slot booking for a US visa can cost around 12 to 13,000 rupees. In addition, you have to pay the universities a processing fee known as the service fee. That is about $350, which roughly translates to 30,000 rupees. In addition, a few universities require you to have certain immunizations. A rough estimate of these immunizations will be around 5 to 6,000 rupees. Now, these are all inescapable costs, so I can't give you a tip on how you can go around them. So note this down and draw a box around it. This is something you definitely will have to spend. Of course, in the middle of this entire process, you might want to take an education loan. Education loans also have processing fees, and it's a percentage of the loan sanction amount, and it varies from institution to institution depending on where you're taking the loan. But an upper limit of what you might have to spend is around 70,000 rupees on this. You could of course save around 30-40,000 on this depending on where you're getting the loan from. Okay, so now your visa is sorted, your loan is sanctioned, and you're ready to fly off. There are a few expenses here as well. Now you obviously have to stay somewhere in the US, and you'll have to sign a lease agreement in all likelihood before you reach the US itself. Most of these lease agreements require you to pay a deposit. This is roughly around $2,000 for perhaps an entire house or a shared space. Of course, if you're sharing it among 4 people, which is the most common practice, your share of the deposit may be around $500. But again, this is a very rough estimate. It really depends on where you're going. New York City is going to be far more expensive than somewhere in Indiana. Now, of course, you have to travel to the US. Flight tickets can cost you between 60,000 rupees to 1,50,000, depending on the airline and which route you plan to take. You can definitely save some money here by booking your tickets early. Keep in mind that you can book your tickets to the US even before your visa is sanctioned. You will have fully refundable tickets. So please do it soon. Of course, there are other smaller expenses in case you have to invest in some big luggage or new luggage, which is often the case when you're traveling and moving with a lot of stuff. That might cost you around 15 to 20,000 rupees. And you need to have some money in hand for some sort of currency exchange or any other miscellaneous expenses such as medicines and stuff. I would recommend you keep around 30,000 rupees aside. But again, these are costs which are in your control and you can cut down. Alright, a final sort of miscellaneous expense which you really can't discount, however, is shopping. If you are going to a place that is incredibly cold, then you likely have to purchase winter gear. And of course, maybe other attire which is appropriate. You need to set aside around 30 to 40,000 rupees depending on the location that you're going to, especially winter wear, which can withstand US winters in the Northeast and New England and certain colder parts of the country like Chicago will be expensive. And it's best you pick these up in the US because you'll get it at lower cost and much better quality. So I've thrown so many numbers at you. Are you a little confused? Are you doing little calculations on your little notepad? Don't worry, I'm going to give you a rough estimate. Now, the total cost of applying to US universities could be around 3 to 4 lakhs. Of course, you can tweak it here and there and you can cut down the cost. Or if you really book your flight tickets in the last minute, then that cost can significantly go up. But 3 to 4 lakhs is sort of a middle of the range fair estimate. Now, how much you save on that is dependent on you. Now, of course, if you start off with GradVine, we keep giving you tips throughout on how you can save on costs, apart from the wonderful application guidance we give you so that you can make it to these top universities in the first place. You also must understand that considering how expensive this application process is and the fact that the tuition fee is high, you have to maximize your potential and go to a university that gives your career the ultimate edge. Therefore, you have to spend your money wisely and push your profile to make it to the best universities possible. We help you out with exactly that, and we will help you save money during the entire process as well. So sign up for a free consultation with us to find out how we help using the link in the description. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, please like, share and subscribe and stay tuned to the GradVine channel.